Hey everyone, and welcome back. So today we're going to put on our detective hats. Yeah, our data detective hats. We're going to dive into how some really random, maybe even kind of boring bits of data can tell some absolutely amazing stories. You just got to know where to look.
Think about it, right? Every single spreadsheet, every log file, every boring-looking catalog, it has a secret. It's like a little time capsule holding a snapshot of a moment, a choice somebody made, or a big plan for what's next. And our job? Well, it's to crack it open and see what's inside.
And the mystery we're tackling today? It's all about these two things right here. On one side, you've got this little snippet from an employee time-off sheet, all the way back from 2004. And on the other, a piece of a huge software catalog from 2012. They look like they have nothing to do with each other, right? 8 years apart, totally different functions, but are they really so unrelated?
Okay, here's our game plan for this little investigation. First up, a tale of two tables. Then, we're going to decode the human side of things with that log. After that, we'll unpack the tech matrix. And finally, the big reveal, the stories data tells, where we connect all the dots.
So, here we go. Section 1, a tale of two tables, the case of the unrelated files. Our case file is officially open. We've got two pieces of evidence from two totally different times in a company's life. And our mission, if we choose to accept it, is to find that hidden thread, the one that connects the everyday lives of people with the big long-term tech strategy of their company.
Okay, on to part 2, decoding the human log. This is all about getting a glimpse into daily operations. Let's start with the people, right? This first file gives us this incredible little peek into the daily grind of a company way back in June 2004. But before we can figure out the story, we've got to understand what we're even looking at.
So this log is all about something called VTO, which stands for voluntary time off. The idea is actually pretty simple. When things get a little slow at work, instead of having to do layoffs, the company can just say, hey, does anyone want to take some unpaid time off? It's a really flexible way to handle costs without having to let people go. Now, super important note before we go any further. To protect everyone's privacy, all the names and personal details have been anonymized. We're not here to look at what one specific person did. That's not the point. What we're really looking for are the patterns. The real story is in the big picture, not the tiny details about individuals.
Okay, so take a look at this sample from the log. You can see we've got an employee ID, a department number, the date, and then the VTO hours. It's a super detailed look, almost like we're checking the company's pulse, right? You can ask questions like, who was working? Where were they working? And most importantly, was there enough work to go around? And just looking at this tiny piece, you can see a couple of people took some time off. One person took 4 hours, another took about 3.5. But here's the interesting thing. If you were to look at the entire log, you'd find that these entries are actually pretty rare. They're the exception. The really fascinating part is the number that shows up way, way more often.
Yeah, the number you see again and again and again is 0. Most of the lines just say 0. So what does that tell you? Does it mean that VTO was offered to everyone, but most people were like, no thanks, I need the money? Or maybe it was only offered to a few specific teams. This whole sea of zeros, it tells a huge story about the day-to-day reality of the business back in 2004.
Okay, let's hit pause on the human story for a second. It's time to pick up our second clue. Moving on to part 3, unpacking the tech matrix, a catalog of corporate tools. Now we're jumping forward in time to 2012 and shifting gears completely. We're going from the minute-by-minute world of people's hours to the big-picture, strategic world of technology.
So what is this thing? Well, it's basically a massive list of software that came with a Microsoft TechNet subscription. The best way to think about it is like an all-you-can-eat software buffet for the IT department. Seriously, they could download and test out pretty much any Microsoft product to kick the tires and see if it was the right fit for the company before they had to spend a ton of money on it.
And when I say the list is huge, I mean it's huge. We're talking the whole shebang. You've got the big stuff like operating systems and server software that are the literal backbone of the company. Then there are developer tools for creating brand new things. And of course, all the business and office apps that pretty much everyone used every single day. It's not just a list, it's a catalog of what this company was capable of.
But here's the coolest part. This document from 2012, it's more than just a list. It's a genuine time capsule.
I mean, buried in this one file is decades of tech history. You can find relics from the early 90s, like Windows 3.1. It also has the exact software that was being used back in 2004 when our VTO log was being made, like Exchange Server 2003. And it goes all the way up to what was brand new at the time, Windows 8. It's a story of evolution, all in one place.
All right, this is it. Time for the final act. Section 4, the stories data tells. We're talking people, tools, and the bigger picture. So we've got our two clues, right? The very human day-to-day story from 2004 and this epic, decade-spanning tech story from 2012. Now let's finally bring them together and see what story they tell together.
And this just lays out the difference so perfectly. On one hand, you have the human log. That's the micro view, right? It's a zoom in on a single month, showing all those tiny little daily decisions. On the other hand, you've got the tech matrix. That's the macro view. It's the big strategic blueprint showing decades of tools and the company's ambition for the future.
It's simple, really. One table shows us people.
And the other shows us the tools that power their work.
One is a minute-by-minute log of a single month.
The other is a decade-spanning catalog of possibilities. It's a map of what was, what is, and what could be. It's the potential to grow, to build, to become more efficient, maybe even build a company where those VTO logs start having a lot more zeros for a good reason.
And this is the key takeaway, the big aha moment. The connection isn't in the data itself. There's no shared ID or anything like that. The connection is in the questions we ask of it. It's the story they tell together. People and tools, daily operations and long-term strategy, this single moment in time and the long arc of technological progress. It's all about curiosity.
So I'll leave you with this question. What stories is your data telling? I mean, look around you. Think about the spreadsheets you use, the reports you see, those old files just sitting on your computer. What completely random pieces could you put side by side? What incredible stories are just sitting there, waiting for a data detective like you to uncover them?